I stood beside Ethan, my hand barely touching his arm, as flashes exploded around us. "Look this way, Ethan," a photographer shouted. He turned, grinning, and I forced a smile too. "You're glowing tonight," he whispered, but it sounded rehearsed, like something he'd said before 100 times. "Thanks," I murmured. I wasn't sure if I meant it. He leaned closer. "Ivy, stay here. I'll handle the crowd." "I'm fine," I said, trying to convince myself more than him. "You don't need to worry about me." He smirked. "Always so independent." Independent. I laughed quietly, but it felt hollow. Cameras focused on him, fans screaming his name, flashing signs with his face. My name didn't exist tonight, not really. "Ethan," I said softly, "don't you think they're ignoring me?" He shrugged, brushing my hand away gently. "Relax, Ivy. It's just the crowd. Enjoy the night with me." I nodded, but my chest tightened. It was supposed to be our night, our anniversary, and I felt like a shadow, like I didn't matter beside the man everyone adored. "Ethan, look," a voice shouted. "Lily Hart's here." My stomach dropped. He turned fully, a smile spreading across his face as Lily approached. My hand hovered near his, but he moved it aside and linked his arm with hers. "It's just Lily," he said lightly, noticing my expression. "Just Lily." I repeated, voice trembling. "The woman you've been secretly living with." "Ivy, it's work," he replied, calm, almost too calm. "You wouldn't understand." "Work." My voice rose. "You've spent more time with her than with me. Do you even see me anymore?" He looked at me, eyes soft but distant. "I see you, Ivy. Really, I do. But this is how it has to be." My throat tightened. How it has to be. My life isn't just a backdrop to yours, Ethan. I'm your wife. He shrugged again, smiling at the cameras. "Ivy, don't ruin the night for yourself." I wanted to scream, to shake him, to make him see me, but I only forced a smile. Pretending became easier than confronting him in public. Inside, something shattered. Later, Maya called. Her voice was urgent. "Ivy, you need to see this." "What is it?" I asked, already sensing the answer. "It's Ethan, leaving a hotel with Lily. Pictures are everywhere. The tabloids are calling it Hollywood's secret love story." I gripped the phone. He's living with her?" Maya's voice softened. "It seems so. Ivy, I'm sorry. I know you didn't see this coming." "I didn't," I whispered, sinking into a chair. "All this time, all our years, and my voice caught. He forgot me." "You're not forgotten," Maya said gently. "You're real. Remember that." I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. I wanted to argue, to deny it, to hope it was a mistake. But I knew the truth. The photos, the whispers, the excitement he reserved for her, that was my reality now. I called him. "Ethan," I said, voice shaking. "Is it true? Are you with her?" There was silence. Then, calm and almost smug, "Ivy, it's complicated. You wouldn't understand. You're living with her. After everything." I shouted. He sighed. "Ivy, please. Don't make this harder than it has to be." "Harder? I trusted you. Loved you." My voice cracked. "And you forgot me." "Ivy," his tone softened, but all I could hear was my heartbreak echoing in the room. I hung up before I said something I couldn't take back. My world had shifted. The man I loved was slipping away faster than I could grasp. Maya arrived later, hugging me tightly. "I know it hurts," she whispered, "but you're stronger than you think." I tried to believe her, really. But the images of the red carpet stayed. Him smiling, arm around Lily, brushing my hand away. That night, I learned a painful truth. Love wasn't enough to make someone stay. And as the headlines appeared online, calling them the perfect couple, my name felt like it belonged to someone else, a ghost of a life I thought I had. I whispered to myself, I will not be invisible again. I woke to the news on my phone. Ethan had filed for divorce. Publicly. I stared at the screen, unable to breathe. "Are you kidding me?" I whispered. Maya's voice buzzed through the speaker. "Ivy, I'm so sorry. I didn't know he would do this publicly." "I can't believe this," I said, gripping the edge of the bed. "He's making me look like the villain. The jealous wife. Everyone thinks I'm crazy." "Ivy, you're not," Maya said, calm but firm. "Don't let them write your story for you." "I already feel like I'm gone," I muttered, scrolling through the social media posts. Fans were cruel, commenting on every picture, every minor flaw. They're all against me. I lost my job because of the scandal, Maya. My friends, no one wants to be seen with me now. I've lost everything. "You haven't lost yourself," she reminded me gently. I laughed bitterly. Myself? I barely recognize her. The woman who loved him, who trusted him, she's gone. Replaced by rumors and lies. Then you need to step back. Breathe. Think, Maya said. I can't breathe, I said, my voice breaking. I have to see him. I have to confront him. I need answers. Be careful, she warned. The night was pouring rain when I reached the premiere. My heels sank into puddles, my dress clinging to me. The red carpet shone under the floodlights, but it all felt fake. There he was. Ethan. Standing there, flawless, smiling, shaking hands with fans. I felt like I was looking through a glass wall. He didn't see me. Ethan. I called, my voice loud over the rain. He glanced briefly, and I thought I saw recognition. But his expression remained polite, neutral, like a stranger passing in the street. Ivy, he said softly, almost apologetically. Not now. I can't. Not now. I shouted. Isn't it always not now? You erased me from your life. You made me the joke, the villain. Ivy, please, he said, his eyes avoiding mine. I have work obligations. People are watching. I don't care about them. I yelled. I cared about us. And you didn't even care about me. Enough, he said firmly. You're making this worse for yourself. I opened my mouth to argue, but then headlights blazed behind me. I didn't even have time to move. Watch out, someone yelled. I froze, the rain soaking my hair and face. And then everything went black. When I woke, I was in a small, sterile room. Beeping machines, the scent of antiseptic, and a steady hand on my shoulder. Easy there, a calm voice said. I turned, startled. A man in a white coat stood beside me. Where am I? What? Hospital, he said gently. You were hit by a car outside the premiere. You're lucky to be alive. I what? I stammered. I was Ethan. You were lucky someone saw you in time, he said quietly. I'm Dr. Daniel Moore. I blinked, trying to process. I don't even know what happened. You don't need to talk yet, he said kindly. Rest. Focus on breathing. I sank back against the pillow, staring at the ceiling. My chest ached, not from the accident, but from the betrayal. I had tried to save my marriage. I had tried to hold on to love. And yet, he had turned the world against me, erased me from his life, and left me for dead, emotionally, if not physically. Why? I whispered, tears slipping down my cheeks. Why him? Why now? I thought we had something real. Dr. Moore nodded, silently listening. Sometimes people fail in ways that aren't fair. But surviving this is your first step. I closed my eyes. I had survived, but I didn't feel alive. I felt hollow, broken by disbelief and hopelessness. Every headline, every comment, every glance of fans felt like nails in my chest. And yet, through the pain, I felt something stirring. A tiny ember. A whisper. I would not stay broken forever. But for now, I stayed in that hospital bed, soaked, bruised, and alone, realizing how completely Ethan had erased me. And I wondered if I would ever see him again, not the man in the photos, not the charming star everyone adored, but the one who had destroyed my life. I woke, my eyes fluttering open to sunlight streaming through a familiar window. The room smelled of lavender and old wood, just like it had years ago. My hand flew to my finger, my gold wedding ring gleamed in the morning light. My chest tightened. This can't be real, I whispered to myself. A soft knock on the door startled me. Ivy, are you awake? Maya's voice, younger, filled the hallway. I'm awake, I said quickly, though my mind raced. Maya, something's different. You're scaring me, she replied, stepping inside. Her eyes widened at my expression. What is it? I swallowed, gripping my ring. I don't know how to explain, but I know everything. Everything that's going to happen with Ethan. Her brow furrowed. What do you mean? You sound strange. I said, my voice low, trembling with fury I hadn't felt before. I know he's going to betray me. I know he'll ruin me. I know the lies he'll tell, the life he'll steal from me. But this time, I won't be powerless. You're scaring me, she repeated, softer now, almost pleading. I'm not scared, I whispered, holding my hand up so she could see the ring. I should have been scared. I should have cried. But now, this ring isn't a symbol of love anymore. It's a warning. A warning? Maya asked. Yes, I said firmly. A warning to him. To anyone who thinks they can hurt me. This time, I'll be ready. I'll watch him rise, I'll watch him betray me, and then I'll take everything he loves. Everything he values. His fame, his pride, his peace, all of it will be mine to control. Maya stepped back, concern written on her face. Ivy, that's a lot to say. Are you sure this isn't just your imagination? I'm sure, I said, voice cold but steady. I know what comes next. And I promise you, I won't fail this time. Not him. Not anyone. She bit her lip, unsure but nodded slowly. If you're really serious, I'll stand by you. But this isn't small, Ivy. You're talking about changing everything. I know, I said, looking at my reflection in the mirror. My hair fell over my shoulders, the same way it had years ago. But my eyes were different. Sharp, focused, alive with a fire I had never let burn before. Everything has to change. I held up my hand, staring at the ring. 5 years from now, he thinks he's untouchable. But I will be untouchable first. And then he'll see me. Really see me. A knock came at the door again. Breakfast is ready, Maya said softly. I exhaled, nodding. I'll be there in a minute. My fingers touched the ring again. Need a moment to remind myself who I am now. Who I've become. You've always been strong, Maya said gently, but now, you sound like someone different. I am different, I said, standing taller. The old Ivy would have cried, would have begged, would have tried to forgive. This Ivy, she plans. She waits. She watches. And when the time comes, she takes what she's owed. I turned to the window, watching the garden outside. The sunlight glinted off the dew, and for the first time, I felt powerful. My heart still trembled, but not from love. Not from fear. From rage. And clarity. This is my life, I whispered to no one, my voice low and steady. My story. And this time, I write it. Not him. Not anyone. And nothing will stop me. Maya knocked again, softer this time. Ivy, are you ready? I looked at her, eyes sharp, lips tight. I'm always ready now. The ring glinted on my finger, a small circle of gold that no longer promised love. It promised revenge, power, and justice. And I swore to myself, quietly, deadly, that this time I would not fail. I adjusted my dress in the mirror, smoothing the fabric over my hips, and glanced at Ethan. He was already smiling for the cameras, perfectly charming, completely unaware of the storm quietly building beside him. You ready, Ivy? He asked softly, leaning close, his voice just for me. Always, I replied, my lips curving into a smile that wasn't entirely mine. The cameras flashed as we stepped onto the stage. I kissed him lightly, pressing my hand against his chest. You look amazing tonight, I whispered. Thanks, love, he said, completely believing the illusion. I don't know what I'd do without you. I smiled wider. You'd survive, I'm sure, but it'd be less fun. He laughed, and I let him think it was genuine affection. Inside, every gesture, every word, was a calculated move. I had learned to hide everything behind this mask. Later, in my private study, I spread out my old scripts. I had rewritten them, polished them, and now I sold them under a pseudonym. Each completed sale, each contract signed without my name attached, was a quiet victory. I chuckled softly, imagining Ethan reading headlines praising a writer he didn't know existed. A knock at the door broke my thoughts. Come in, I called. Oliver King, Ethan's agent, stepped in with that usual self-satisfied smirk. Ivy, darling, can we talk about Ethan's upcoming premiere? I need your input on the wardrobe choices. I looked up, smiling sweetly. Of course, Oliver. Anything for Ethan. He leaned closer. You know, the public really loves seeing you two together. Their chemistry, unbelievable. Yes, I said, letting the word drip with perfect innocence. We try to make it look natural. He nodded, oblivious to the fact that I was cataloging every bribe, every lie, every hidden story his agency tried to bury. Good. Keep playing your part. The public loves it. I'll do my best, I said, my smile polite but deadly. Once he left, I returned to my files. Every secret I uncovered, every whispered scandal and falsified story went into a folder labeled for later. Ethan and Oliver thought they controlled the narrative. Little did they know, I was building my arsenal. The next day, Lily arrived at our house. She smiled at me, bright and careless, unaware that I knew everything. Good morning, Ivy, she chirped. Coffee. Sure, I said, following her into the kitchen, my voice sweet, neutral. Black, right? Yes, she said, laughing lightly. Thanks. As we sipped our coffee, I watched her, noting the subtle ways she flinched when Ethan's name came up, the little signs that told me she feared exposure. "You seem different," she said suddenly, tilting her head. "More confident." "I guess," I said lightly, stirring my coffee. "I've been thinking a lot about the future. Planning, organizing." She laughed, unaware that every word I said was a promise. "I always thought you were, well, quieter. More submissive, maybe." I smiled. "I've grown. We all change, don't we?" She nodded, trusting, smiling at me like I was the old Ivy. But inside, I cataloged every secret detail of her affair, every slip she had made when she thought no one was watching. One day, she'd pay for every tear she'd caused me. Later, Ethan returned, radiant and arrogant as ever. I kissed him lightly, brushed imaginary lint from his suit, whispered, "You're going to steal the show tonight." He chuckled. "I don't know how I manage without you, Ivy. You make everything easy." "Yes," I said softly, letting the word hang between us, sweet and empty. "Everything is easier when you have someone by your side." I watched him, noting the way his hand moved absent-mindedly, the small tics and habits he thought private. Each gesture became a piece of evidence, each careless word another thread in the web I was weaving. "Do you ever wonder," I said quietly, leaning closer, "what people would do if they knew everything?" Ethan laughed, dismissive. "Ivy, don't overthink things. Life's easier when you just play along." "Yes," I whispered, letting the words slide like a knife hidden in silk. "Play along." That night, I retired to my study again. Files, photos, contracts, notes, everything lined up like soldiers ready for battle. I smiled, brushing a stray lock of hair from my face. Ethan believed he was untouchable. Lily thought she had me fooled. But every smile I had given them, every kiss on stage, every whispered, "I love you," had been a weapon. And I promised myself quietly that I would use every single one of them when the time came. For now, I was the perfect wife, smiling, charming, obedient. But the woman behind the mask was patient, calculating, and dangerous. And when the moment arrived, they would both learn exactly what it meant to betray me. I sat at my kitchen table, phone glowing, and waited for the world to notice what I already knew. "Did you post that?" Maya's voice buzzed through the speaker before I could answer her text. "Yes," I said more to myself than to her. "I did." "Are you sure this is the right move?" she asked, a tremor in her tone. "People are talking. It's everywhere." "Good," I whispered. "Let them talk." "You're not scared?" she pressed. "Ivy, this could ruin him, ruin you." "I thought about that," I answered, rubbing my thumb over the ring on my finger. "I thought about how he ruined me. I'm not doing this to destroy him, without cause. I want the truth out." Maya hesitated. "I didn't know you were the one behind E.C. Raven posts." "You didn't have to know," I said. "You gave me the opening when you ran, that piece about red carpet favors. You asked the right questions. I filled in the rest." She sighed. "Ivy, I never wanted to be part of your revenge." "You're not," I insisted. "You're a journalist. You report. I gave you facts." "Facts," she repeated. "Are we sure they are facts? Oliver is going to accuse us of fabricating evidence." "Then let him accuse," I said, feeling a thrill at the thought. "Let him scramble. Let him make mistakes." Maya's silence was long. "Ivy, are you happy? Because it sounds like you're enjoying this." I paused, surprised by the truth in her question. "I won't say I enjoy watching them fall," I said, finally honest. "But I do feel lighter. Every headline that exposes one of Ethan's lies takes a weight off my chest." Outside, the notifications chimed like distant bells. "You have to see this," Maya said quickly. "There's a thread. People are piecing things together. Someone found a charity ledger showing a donation trail that doesn't add up. They traced it back to a shell company Oliver uses." "Good work," I said. "Keep digging." "Who's E.C. Raven?" she asked, suddenly curious. "Someone anonymous is tearing him apart. They're brutal but precise." "Someone who knows him well," I replied, keeping my voice steady. "Someone he underestimated." I fed the truth in small doses, anonymous tips, leaked documents, disguised emails. I watched Ethan on television, face pale when hosts asked pointed questions, trying to laugh it off. Charm couldn't fix ledgers and witness statements. "Ethan, you okay?" Lily's voice came through the phone when I called to seem casual. "You sounded off on that interview." "I'm fine," he said, voice forced. "They asked stupid questions." "They're digging," I said softly. "Do you trust Oliver to handle it?" He hesitated. "Oliver said he had it under control." Does he? I asked. Of course, he replied. He's been handling things for years. Good, I said the word flat. Inside, I had started the engine. Inside, I had stacked the pieces that would make him stumble. He didn't know the hand that pushed, he only felt the fall. A headline flashed across my screen. Ethan Collins Foundation under scrutiny. My stomach tightened, but my pulse was steady. Maya texted, they're asking for comments. Do you have anything to say? No, I typed back. Let them burn their own stage. As the rumors spread, Lily's calls came more often. Edged with a panic, she tried to hide. They're talking, she said once, voice thin. It's everywhere. I don't know what to do. Lay low, I advised, keeping my tone calm. Don't respond to anything. Let them make the noise. Noise fades. Evidence doesn't. You're so calm, she said, almost whispering. I wish I could be like you. Spend less time on social media, I told her. And stay away from Ethan when he gets flustered. That doesn't help. I can't run away, she snapped, the hurt and fear in her words raw. I didn't mean for any of this. I thought. You thought what? I asked quietly. That he'd leave everything for me, she said. That I'd be enough. I didn't answer. Instead, I remembered every time he'd promised me the world and given me staged apologies. Lily's belief in him was a mirror of my past, naive and dangerous. Weeks passed. My pen name, E.C. Raven, became a whisper that fed into louder whispers until tabloids could no longer ignore it. People debated on morning shows. Fans argued online, dividing into camps. Some rallied for Ethan blind. Others felt the cold drop of doubt I had seeded. One morning, a producer called Maya directly. We want to host E.C. Raven, they said. We want the anonymous voice on our panel. Maya stared at me across the table. Ivy, you have to be careful. If you go public, or if they uncover you, everything changes. I'm ready, I said. You're not alone, Maya said, reaching across to squeeze my hand. But promise me, you won't let this consume you. I promise. That night, as I read the headlines I had created, I felt a strange peace. Each headline was a small victory, proof that I could write my way back into the world. When Lily texted me, I didn't want to hurt anyone. I'm so sorry. I paused. It's not about apologies, I wrote back. It's about responsibility and consequences. I hit send and watched the dots disappear. The rumor mill churned, and I sat inside the eye of it, quiet, satisfied, and alive. I adjusted my dress in front of the mirror, heart steady, hands calm. Tonight was the award ceremony. Cameras, flashing lights, and crowds that had adored him for years. Ethan would take the stage, smiling, charming, unaware that the ground beneath him was about to crumble. Ready, Ivy? Maya whispered, leaning beside me. I've never been more ready, I said softly, though inside, a fire burned quietly. The host announced Ethan, and the applause thundered. He strode up, perfect posture, grin immaculate. I want to thank everyone who believed in me, he began, voice smooth. And especially Lily Hart. She saved my career when I needed her most. The audience erupted in applause. I clapped, letting the sound fill me like poison. He had no idea that in just minutes, his world would shift completely. I slipped my phone from my clutch, fingers hovering over the screen. Are you sure about this? Maya asked quietly, concern threading her words. Positive, I replied, thumb poised. He should have thought of me before anyone else. The video played on every social media platform I had prepared. Ethan and Lily, caught in private moments, laughing, touching, whispering secrets that weren't meant for the public. The internet exploded. Notifications screamed like a storm. Tweets, shares, comments. Everyone saw what I already knew. Did you? Maya's voice trembled. I did, I said, calm and controlled. And now he sees it too. Minutes later, headlines began to surface. Ethan Collins betrayed fans and wife. Shocking video reveals secret affair. Brands dropped him overnight. Studios canceled contracts. Lily's agent called frantic calls, but she was already gone, fleeing the country in disgrace. I watched the chaos quietly from my apartment, glass of wine in hand. Maya sat beside me, hands trembling. He's losing everything. Yes, I said, letting the word hang. Finally, he's accountable. The doorbell rang, sharp and insistent. I raised an eyebrow. Maya? I murmured. Do you think that's... I don't know, she said nervously. But maybe you should be careful. I opened the door. Ethan stood there, suit rumpled, hair slightly disheveled, eyes wide searching. For me. Ivy, he began, voice unsteady. Please, you have to help me. I can fix this. I can explain. Please. I stepped aside, letting him in, studying him. Broken, desperate human. Not the untouchable star, not the man who had cast me aside. Just a man begging for help. Sit, I said, calm but firm. He sank into the chair, hands trembling on his knees. You ruined everything, he whispered. My career, my image, my life. I don't know what to do. I studied him silently, taking in the sharp angles of his panic, the lines of exhaustion around his eyes. You want my advice? I asked softly. Yes, he said immediately. Please. I'll do anything. You could have asked for honesty before, I said, voice cold but steady. You could have been faithful, transparent. You chose otherwise. I know, he murmured, guilt in every syllable. I didn't think it would come out like this. I thought people would forgive me. I thought. You thought wrong, I interrupted, letting the silence settle between us. People forgive when there is remorse, and there is none in what you did. Only arrogance and lies. His head bowed. I can't believe this is happening. Lily, she left. Everything's gone. I walked past him slowly, deliberately, letting my gaze linger. Yes. Everything you took for granted is gone. And you're standing here at my mercy. Ivy, please, he whispered, voice breaking. You know me. You know who I am, please. I'll do anything. Help me fix it. I stopped, looking down at him. His pride, stripped away, replaced by vulnerability. You want to fix your image? Then start with truth. Own what you did. Face the consequences. Don't try to buy your way back with charm or lies. He swallowed hard, nodding. I will. I promise. Please, just help me manage the fallout. I shook my head slightly. I'm not here to save you, Ethan. I'm here to remind you what it feels like to lose everything you thought was untouchable. For the first time, you're human, and you've seen the consequences of your choices. His eyes filled with tears. Please. I let him sit there, the weight of his actions pressing in. I've been invisible for too long, I said softly. Tonight, I'm not invisible. And you're finally learning what it's like to be powerless. Maya touched my arm gently. Ivy, I know, I whispered. I know exactly what I'm doing. He sat in silence, broken, humbled, and I felt a bitter satisfaction coursing through me. The power had shifted, and for the first time, the man who had made me feel so small understood the consequences of his arrogance. I poured myself another glass of wine, watching him shrink into the seat. One day, I said quietly, you'll remember this night, and you'll remember who taught you the meaning of accountability. The room smelled of polished wood and expensive leather. The mansion was silent, empty, except for the echo of my own footsteps. I held the divorce papers in my hand, feeling their weight, not heavy, but freeing. Ethan appeared in the doorway, eyes wide and pale. Ivy, you're here, he said, voice trembling. Yes, I replied, setting the papers on the table. I'm here to finish this. Finish what? His hands curled into fists, the bravado gone. I can fix this. I can make it right. I shook my head, soft but firm. You can't fix what you never valued in the first place. He stepped closer, desperation written in every line of his face. I miss you, he whispered. I never realized, without you, nothing else matters. Fame, awards, money, none of it means anything if you're not here. I felt a sharp pang, but not for him, for the years I had lost, for the woman I had been. Ethan, I said gently, I loved you once. I really did. But loving you cost me my soul. I'm not that woman anymore. His lips parted in disbelief. What do you mean? Ivy, I can't. You can't change the past, I said, my voice steady. And I'm done trying to fix what was broken before it began. Tears welled at his eyes, and I watched the man I had once adored crumble, not under the weight of public scandal this time, but under the truth he could no longer deny. Please, just give me another chance, he begged, voice raw. I'll do anything. Anything. I leaned forward, placing the pen on the papers. No, I said softly. This isn't about chance. This is about closure. For both of us, finally. He sank into the chair across from me, burying his face in his hands. Ivy, please. You don't understand how much I need you. I understand perfectly, I said quietly, reaching for the pen. I needed you once, and I paid the price for it. I don't need you now. I need peace. And these papers, they give me that. His shoulders slumped, and I could see the realization wash over him that I was already gone long before his fame had fallen. Long before the world saw him humbled, I had retreated, learning to exist without him. Sign them, I urged, my voice firm. Let's end this, so we can both move forward separately. He looked up, eyes red-rimmed and haunted. Ivy, don't you hate me? Hate. I shook my head. No. Hate is wasted on someone who wasn't capable of loving fully. I feel closure. Relief. Freedom. He swallowed hard. You make it sound so easy. It's not easy, I admitted. It never was. But it's necessary. I've learned to survive, Ethan. Without you. Without the lies. Without the mask I used to wear to protect your ego. He shivered, voice breaking. I never thought I'd see this you so strong. You'll see me stronger every day just by staying away, I said softly, picking up the pen. I signed the papers with deliberate strokes, each signature a beat of liberation. He watched silently as I folded them and placed them in the envelope. I don't know what to say, he murmured. You don't need to say anything, I replied. Your apologies, your tears, your regret, they're not for me anymore. They're for you, and they'll have to be enough. The tension in the room was palpable, heavy, yet cleansing. I looked at him one last time, seeing the man who had once been my world reduced to someone I no longer recognized. I hope you learn from this, Ethan, I said, voice steady. Not to hurt others, not to manipulate love, not to take what you have for granted. Because not everyone will forgive you as easily as I am walking away. He nodded slowly, lips pressed together, no words left. And that was enough. I turned toward the door, heels clicking against the polished floor. Goodbye, Ethan, I said, almost whispering. This is the end of us. He didn't reach for me, didn't call me back. He just sat there, alone with his remorse. And for the first time in years, I felt the air clear around me. The mansion no longer felt like a cage. Outside, the city lights twinkled like distant promises. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight lift from my shoulders. The papers in my bag, the symbol of my freedom, reminded me that I no longer needed validation from anyone, not from a husband, not from fame, not from a world. I had my life back, my soul back, and for the first time in a long time, I was finally whole. I stepped onto the city street, sunlight reflecting off the glass of skyscrapers, and felt the wind brush past me like a quiet applause. Billboards stretched above, flashing images I never imagined would belong to me. My face, my name, my words. Once I had been invisible, a shadow beside someone else's glory. Now I was the story. Maya. I called, spotting her waving from across the street. She jogged over, her press badge swinging against her chest. You look unstoppable, she said, grinning. I can't believe how far you've come. I feel unstoppable, I replied, letting the words roll off my tongue with ease. Do you remember how it felt to watch Ethan take the stage, pretending I didn't exist? Maya laughed softly. I remember. And now look at you. Cameras chasing your autograph instead of his smile. I smirked. Ironic, isn't it? The world always thought he was the star. But stars fade. Stories last. Speaking of stories, Maya nudged me. Ready for the signing? I nodded, clutching my copy of The Forgotten Wife. The hardcover felt solid in my hands, a weapon, a shield, a monument to the woman I had become. Let's see how many hands I can shake before they realize this isn't fiction. Inside the bookstore, the crowd surged with quiet excitement. I smiled at each person who approached, signing books with precise loops and elegant flourishes. This is incredible, a young woman said, holding her copy close. I didn't expect to feel every emotion, every betrayal, like it was happening to me. It's meant to feel that way, I replied, looking into her eyes. The story isn't just on paper. It's in the choices we make, the strength we find when someone else tries to take it away. A man in a suit waited patiently, holding out his book. I have to ask, did you write this from personal experience? I chuckled softly, brushing a lock of hair behind my ear. Life is the best teacher. Fiction borrows from truth, but truth is far more powerful than anything I could invent. Maya leaned close, whispering, they have no idea who you really are. Exactly, I said, and they don't need to. Let them read the story and understand the lesson. That's enough. A flash went off near the door. Ms. Collins, a reporter called. Can we get a quick comment? I nodded, stepping forward with grace. Of course. You've risen from being almost forgotten to the top of every bestseller list. do you have any regrets? I paused, fingers brushing the spine of my pen, the instrument that had given me my voice. I lifted my chin and smiled. No. I just finally learned how to write my own story. The reporter scribbled furiously, eyes wide. Incredible. And your husband, did he ever see this coming? I didn't answer directly. I shook my head, letting the silence speak. Then, softly, I added, sometimes the best part of writing a story is knowing who is no longer in it. Laughter rippled through the crowd as cameras clicked. Fans whispered words of admiration, some emotional, others envious, all recognizing the power I carried in my pen. A young boy stepped forward shyly. I just wanted to say, thank you. Your story made me brave. I knelt slightly, eyes meeting his. Thank you for saying that. That's why I wrote it, so people would know they could find strength, even when everything else is lost. Behind me, Maya whispered, you're glowing, Ivy. Literally glowing. I laughed softly. It feels different when it's your own life in your own hands. Every page, every word, every signature, it's mine entirely. Someone handed me a coffee. I took a sip, feeling the warmth spread through me, and glanced out the window. A billboard outside flickered to life, my face beside the title of my book. I thought of Ethan, of the man who once made me feel invisible, and a quiet satisfaction rose in my chest. You're thinking about him, Maya said. I am, I admitted. And for the first time, it doesn't hurt. He's a footnote in my story now. I don't need him to validate my worth. A woman in line asked, how do you stay so composed after everything? I smiled, signing her book. Composure isn't hiding pain. It's choosing where to place your energy. I choose to place mine on growth, on creation, on freedom. Another flash, and a camera clicked. Will there be a sequel? A reporter asked eagerly. Perhaps, I said, tapping my pen against the table. But the next story will be entirely mine, written without fear, without compromise, without anyone else's shadow. A teenager hugged me suddenly. I want to be a writer like you. You already are, I said, holding back a tear. Keep your pen close, your heart open, and your story true. That's all it takes. The crowd gradually thinned, leaving Maya and me alone amidst stacks of books. I gathered the remaining copies and looked around, taking it all in, the space filled with life, laughter, and curiosity. This is it, Maya said softly. The woman who walked away from everything and came back stronger. I feel it, I admitted, holding my pen tightly. Every word, every struggle led me here. I'm finally writing for me, not anyone else. For the first time, my story is mine entirely. She smiled. And what a story it is. I walked to the window, looking down at the street below. People passing by, some pausing to glance at the billboards, some unaware of the life-changing story happening above them. I breathed deeply, feeling the city hum beneath me, feeling my heart beat steady and unafraid. Time to go, I said quietly, tucking the pen into my bag. New chapters await. Maya nodded. And this time, the headlines are yours, Ivy. All yours. I smiled, stepping out into the evening light. For the first time in years, I wasn't defined by someone else's fame, someone else's lies, or someone else's choices. I was defined by me, my words, my will, my freedom. And the pen in my hand was proof that the story had finally been written exactly the way I wanted it.